Hello! It is 7 o'clock, so I am going to start. Do you want to know what the greatest mystery to new CSA members is? It's what's going to be in my box. So in this video, I'm going to explain how we grow and how we decide what goes in your box. I'm Tessa, the farmer's wife at Willow Haven Farm in Nutripoli, PA. We've been farming organically for 12 years, and we send vegetables to households all over the Lehigh Valley, primarily in Lehigh County and in Lower Northampton County. In the last video, which I posted on Monday, and you can find on this page, a couple posts earlier than this one, I talked about what a CSA is and how it works. And there was a lot of helpful information in that. So I do encourage you to go back and look at it if you haven't already. Another thing I want to let you know before I get into the real meat of what comes in your CSA box is to let you know that I have a weekly harvest guide available for you as a download. It looks like this if you print it out in booklet mode. You can get that by going to www.willowhavenfarmpa.com/harvest. I'll give that to you at the end of the video as well and put it in the notes. So now let's dig into the million-dollar question. What comes in a CSA box? I'd love to see comments. So if you have ever wondered what comes in a CSA box, or if you have any of your own ideas you want to answer that might be fun to see your guesses. Put those in the comments. So what comes in a CSA box is dependent on what the farmer harvests that week. Our CSA shares start in June, first week of June, and so it's going to be full of spring vegetables. And spring vegetables are a lot of greens. So I have some pictures here that I can show you. This was week 1 of 2018. And you can see that it's a lot of greens. Chinese or Napa cabbage, a head of lettuce, bok choy, spinach, flowering chives, arugula, pea shoots, kale, and rhubarb. You might think that that will be a challenge for you, but I want to encourage you that we give a lot of support to let you know how to use all the vegetables in your box. If you've never had a CSA before, or you've never committed to eating seasonally in this growing zone, you may not have eaten a lot of bok choy or Napa cabbage. But they're super vegetables, and the advantage of having these greens in the spring is that they're super healthy for you. They have a lot of vitamins and minerals. They grow in the cool days of the spring, so when we're getting sun, but the evenings still might be cooler, or not, we don't have that real brilliant heat and sun that the summer crops need. So these are the things that grow, so these are the things that we harvest. And the great thing about them is that they will supercharge your immune system with vitamins and minerals that over this winter you've depleted and are lacking, and spring is the time to get back in gear and get your system going and restock for all the activities of the summer. So your first box may have just primarily greens in it, and they're going to make wonderful salads, smoothies if you are into that. You can juice them, and stir fries are great. And we, like I said before, we provide a lot of great recipes. As the season progresses, the next couple weeks, you'll start to see things like radishes, peas, spring onions, and some turnips. Now, these are really delicious additions to your salads. Snap peas, of course, are a real favorite. Sometimes those don't even get to the refrigerator. They just come out of your box and sit on the counter and get devoured. But as you go along, you will start to see the beginnings of the summer vegetables. Summer vegetables being the first ones are going to be your zucchini and your summer squash. What I really love about them is they're very versatile. And it's the first really non-green leafy thing that has a little bit more substance to it. I love when the summer squash and the zucchini start coming in. You may know that what we call zucchini is a summer squash. So typically the green summer squash is called zucchini. When we label things in our boxes, we'll label it summer squash, and typically they'll be green or yellow. There's very differences between the two. I wonder if you would like to put in the comments what your favorite vegetables are and what you might be looking forward to in a CSA box this year. As you go along throughout the summer, you'll start seeing cucumbers. Broccoli could come in at any time depending on how it does and what week it was planted. Herbs are really good additions to your box, and we offer herbs almost every week of the season. So, and they do well in the earlier part of the season before the heat of the sun. So dill is one that you'll see in the early part of the season. Cucumbers will start to come in in this guide that I'm looking at. We saw cucumbers on week 6, which would be about the second week of July. July is also when we harvest potatoes. So those heavier crops like potatoes are starting to come in July, and you're starting to get the fruits of the sun. So cabbage and beans start to appear in July. Bigger onions, all different colors. Garlic is also harvested in July. And so now I'm at week 8 in the harvest guide. Week 9, we're starting to get into August. This is some of the favorites. Sweet corn. So we always plant sweet corn, and we plant it later than you see the corn in the fields from the other conventional farmers. What we're trying to do is to keep our organic sweet corn from being contaminated from the pollen of the conventional feed corn that is being grown, mostly GMO, on the neighboring farms. So we delay the planting of our sweet corn so that there's as much little mix as possible. I sounded that kind of funny. But the sweet corn, of course, depends on the weather and also depends on the labor that we have to keep it weeded at times. So sometimes our sweet corn crop does really well, and other times not so well. So sometimes that will come in your box depending on the abundance that we have. Sometimes it'll be something that you can purchase extra on the side. We hope to have cauliflower, many weeks of summer squash, and cabbage. We are planting melons, so watermelon, cantaloupe, and those things. Some of those smaller ones may go in your box, but they take up a lot of room and they're high value products. So they may be something that will allow you to purchase on the side. Now, as you get into August, of course, everybody's waiting for the first tomatoes. And some of our tomatoes are going in our hoop house, which keeps the environment much warmer, which allows us to maybe get a crop of tomatoes a week or 2 earlier than they'll be ready out in the field. But we can never promise. And we can never promise how much will be available and when. But the first of those tomatoes is always going to be the various varieties of small cherry tomatoes, which are the sweetest, and they just give you a burst of really yummy sweet tomato flavor. Great in salads, great just for snacking on. So as we have harvest some of these things in the summer are crops that we're going to harvest one time, and all of them all at once, and then we are going to some of those will go into storage, and we will be able to pull those things out various weeks of the season, maybe to fill in a gap, or we haven't offered potatoes in a week or two. We're going to offer this variety of potatoes, and we do grow 3 or 4 different varieties of potatoes. Other things like that are the winter squashes that we're going to start harvesting in August, and some of those are going to go in your boxes right away, and others we're going to wait until the fall and let them cure, which is a necessary process for them to develop their flavors after they're picked. So they won't go into your boxes right away, but and you'll see various varieties of winter squash. Some maybe that you haven't tried before. So butternut is the classic winter squash that you've probably had and is often used as a substitute for pumpkin. But there's lots of delicious squashes, kabocha and buttercup and acorn, delicatas. And we shall see what varieties grow for us this year and what success we have. We always plant a variety so that we can offer plenty of them, and it gives a variety to each year to see what does well and what doesn't. Now, beets and carrots are something that can be seen throughout the season. Beets are something that can grow in the spring and the summer and kind of all season long. Sometimes that's something that people will want frequently, and sometimes beets is something that I'll try them, but I'm not really fond of beets, you know. Carrots are a really labor-intensive crop, and we do our best, and each year is different when we planted it and when they start to come in. Last year we started our carrot harvest in August and did really well, and we're able to offer carrots from August, September, and October. So I'm not going to cover every single thing. That's what the weekly harvest guide is for. But I didn't mention peppers and eggplant, which are those heavy summer crops that you'll start to see in August and be full of August and September. And the reason why they're classic summer vegetables is because they're not ready in the spring, and as soon as we get a hard frost in the fall, they're done. So we get an abundance. We're picking them every other day, and you're going to see them offered every week, and they're going to be different varieties, different colors, and we encourage you to try them. Try lots of different recipes and find favorite ways to make them, and find several different recipes that you like using them. So that's of eating seasonally. It starts light with the greens, gets into the bright colors of the summer, and ends with the heavy vegetables of the winter squashes and potatoes. Sweet potatoes I haven't mentioned, but they come in the September. So September and October we'll probably be offering sweet potatoes almost every week. And those are ones that you'll be able to keep and store. They won't go bad as quickly. So it's really fun to see the changes and to have different recipes, different combinations of the vegetables. And that's part of what the exciting food journey of eating the CSA way, eating seasonally with your local farm is about. So if you want to see a list of what we grow, it's not a comprehensive list because things change every year, but we do have a frequently asked question section at the bottom of the Our CSA page on our website. So if you go to willowhavenfarmpa.com and at the top click on the Our CSA tab, it'll send you to the CSA page, and all the way down at the bottom there's a number of FAQs, and about the fourth one down, if you open that one up, it'll give you a list of vegetables that we grow every season. And like I said, there's variations. We are probably going to grow a greater variety of things this year because we've increased our land and our planting plan, but that will give you a good start. Another thing about that I mentioned about especially summer favorites is that we are planting various varieties. So with eggplant, you'll see not just the large purple globes, but you'll also see Japanese eggplants, which are small, skinnier, more tubular, and have variegated stripes, green, not green, purple and white stripes. That's one example. Tomatoes, of course, you know, come in a lot of different varieties and colors and flavors. Tomatoes are really classified as a fruit, so they're very sweet and have a lot of flavor. And we can grow a lot of different varieties of them. So summer's exciting because of all the variety. We also try to grow greens for almost every week of the season. Some years go better than others. Many people really depend on and like to have salads with their meal every day. And so we try to provide greens for that. Other people are making green drinks and smoothies and want that vitamins and super nutrition of greens. So we're trying to keep kale or Swiss chard going throughout the season. But the great thing about the summer is that there's so much variety, so much abundance, that if you're getting tired of greens because of the spring abundance, you really don't have to take more lettuce. From 1 to 5, whether you first to rate it from I like it a lot or I don't like it at all and I don't ever want to see it in my box. If you rate something a 1, it'll almost never come to you in your box. If you rate something a 5, the system will try to put it in your box every time it's available. If I have seen where people will rate everything a 5, then you're just going to get more variety. It's basically the same as if you didn't rate anything at all, or if you rated everything a 3. So if that's fine, if you're happy with whatever comes in your box and you want the variations, go ahead and rate everything all the same. You love it. You'll get plenty. But if you rate things 1 through 5, it'll act more with your preferences in mind. If there are situations where there's a certain week where there's less things that are your favorites, Then we have growing, and there's certain things that you don't like and don't ever want to see. You have a lot of 1s or 2s that week, and a couple of things are 4s or 5s. Then the system will double up on those and give you 2 of the things that you like in order to fill your box. That's setting your preferences. But then during the season, you're going to get an email every Friday or Saturday. And what we have to do is we have to go out into the field and look at every crop and say, yes, this is going to be ready to be picked next week. So there's a lot of experience that goes into that, and we may make some mistakes, but those can be adjusted. But that email will come to you, and the system will already say, okay, if the farmer is picking all of these crops, then, and this is what this customer likes, these are the things that are going to go into your box. So if you've set your preferences the way you like everything, you don't have to do a thing when that email comes. It should already be things that you like. But if we have extras of those crops, you will see in that email you're getting these certain number of vegetables, and then there's certain things that didn't go in your box, and you are free to switch things around, to swap item for item. So the farmer is sneaking through here, trying not to make any noise. Maybe he'll say hi.
Hello.
but you will have a window of time to customize your box. We're trying to give you several days, and sometime on Monday that window will close, and we'll say, that's it, you've had enough time, we need to get picking, we need to know what everybody wants. And so the customization time is going to be over, and you will have had to make any of your changes, your swaps, or your extra. Welcome to go in and change your preferences. Your preferences may change because you've decided that you really like a certain thing that you tried, or another situation that happens is some people are growing a small garden on the side, and they are having an overflow of tomatoes, and so they don't want tomatoes in their box, but they want some of the things that we're growing instead. So if you go back into your account and you change preferences and say, yes, I like this now because I've tried it, or I've had enough of this right now and I don't want to see it for a while, you can go in and change your ratings 1 through 5 anytime. If there's a new crop that we've grown and it wasn't originally in your crop selection when you set your preferences, that will automatically be rated as a 3, so you'll get a chance to try it, and you can go in during the season and rate that whether you like it or don't like it. So Mr. Vincent has a question here. Did that email go out with the guide on how to best store veggies to keep them fresh? Jeffrey, I did see your email. I think I have several guides about how to store vegetables, and I'm going to be sending one out soon. I think I know the one that you're referring to, and like I said, I have several, so those will be coming out soon. They'll definitely go out before the end of the season to all of the CSA members, a guide on how to store your vegetables. Any other comments or questions, go ahead and throw them in the comment box there, and I will try to get to them. The next part of what goes in your box is what size of a share that you chose. This year we're offering small, medium, and large. And so and they're going to have a value associated to them. You're not going to see that, and that's not something that you have to be aware of really, except if it happens that you choose a lot of the higher value items, you're going to end up getting a smaller number of items in your box. So that's, say, a small share targets 5 to 6 items. That's our best guess based on what we valued the crops in past years that will go in your box each week. And the different choices that you make will make that number go up and down. So the small box we're targeting 5 to 6, the medium targeting 8 to 9, the large box we're targeting 12 to 14. Now you could have a number slightly lower than that or slightly higher than that, but that would probably be rare. Another question is, are there any days we can visit the farm to pick our own produce? So the short answer to that is no. We don't do any pick your own crops. We're not really set up for that. And most of our customers aren't coming out to the farm with the time to do that. If you want to volunteer to do some picking, we can train you and give you the experience of picking vegetables. And the other exception is that sometimes in the middle of the abundance of tomato season, we have so much that we just can't get out of the field, and we know that people who want to buy tomatoes in bulk would be willing to come out and pick their own and take them home for a lower price. So that's the answer to that question. Thanks for asking. When you sign up, so you're going to choose the different size box. You're also going to choose the frequency that you want to get your box. We have the weekly and we have the every other week option. Now the weekly box means that you're going to get the freshest vegetables each week, and you're going to have the challenge of using them up before the next box comes, and that's great. So pick the size that you want. We do let you, once you've had experience with your box trying to use it up for 4 weeks or so, we definitely suggest, because it takes some time to kind of master the skills, and it really is okay to waste something in your box, especially as you're learning, because it is a skill to learn how to use everything up in a certain amount of time. If you choose the every other week schedule for a box, you'll have 2 weeks to use your vegetables, and then you'll learn how to use the just things first, the things that may deteriorate and may not last may not last the whole 2 weeks, so your lighter greens are things that you'll want to use in the first week, but you won't have the pressure of using everything up every week. So size and frequency work together. One hint is that a weekly small vegetables is about the same value and really anywhere in the season. That gives you a lot of flexibility, especially if you're on every other week season. So this year, maybe there won't be as much traveling going on, but I hope people get to take vacations, and a bi-weekly box gives you the flexibility. You only get 10 boxes throughout the season, but you'll have those off weeks where you can switch your boxes around to an off week if something comes up. The weekly people will they can cancel or put their box on hold if they need a week off, or they can put that box to another week, and then they'll have 2 boxes to use that week. So make up for the week that you weren't there. All right, so that wraps up what comes in a box for the CSA. And I want to remind you of the download to get the weekly harvest guide that shows you what we've harvested in the past every week of the summer. So if you download it and pick the booklet mode on your computer printer, it has several pages, nice colors, a nice layout, and it shows you labels each of the vegetables and gives you an idea of what they look like and what general time of the season they come. So that's a great guide to print out. And that's at willowhavenfarmpa.com/harvest, HARVEST. So I'm just double checking. I hope that answers your questions. I hope that gives you a great overview of this season, and I hope you're looking forward to all the wonderful vegetables coming in your boxes. If you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will be answering them over the next day or so. All right, thanks for joining me. Have a great night.